Hello, hello, hello. We are back once again with the Revolt Endurance Championship here, week 6 on a Sunday. It's about to be 3 UTC. We're about to begin our qualifiers. Shout out to Prawnfoot for that sub. Welcome in, Pokers, Power 8. Okay, so we are going to be hopping straight into things. We can take a quick look at our track list. We've done all the top 5, headed to our second half of races today. The first of 5. Be starting with Urban Sprint 1 today. Next week, School is Out 2, followed by Spa Vault 2, Helios, and Jailhouse Rock to finish us out. A very fitting final track. But for today, we've got Urban Sprint on our hands. Will definitely be an interesting track. We've seen it in an endurance context before. No crossroads or anything like that. Should be a pretty straightforward track. There's some specific spots for edges to be made, some specific spots that drivers might struggle with. We'll go ahead and hop into our standings, as we are 1 minute away from the first qualifier beginning. As you can see, Stingox dethroned Famous. Now, certainly not in the overall standings, but for those of you who don't know, there has been a long-standing tradition of either Famous or Frostbitten winning every single track in the Revolt Endurance Championship for a number of seasons. So, Stingox reversed the curse for the rest of the lobby, finally getting a dub locked in. He almost did it on Game Room 2 last time around. And in fact, Kiki almost managed to do it last time in Season 4 here a couple weeks ago on Game Room 2. But it didn't happen. Finally did happen for Stingox. We've also got the driver of the day from last week. This is for White Rose Chapel, Laggy Rock, winning by 3 votes over both Frostbitten and Kiki. Keep in mind, the winner of the race can't be chosen for driver of the day. But Laggy Rock, he, as you can see from the standings, he only got 8 points in White Rose Chapel, but he had some especially strong driving, was fighting with Nick and Kilobaris for the first 20 laps, and then I think it was the last 20 laps, he was locked in with G-Force. G-Force said he kept getting edges here and there on him, 2 or 3 meters, but Laggy Rock managed to hold on the whole way through and finish it out. So the drivers, especially the drivers present, felt that Laggy Rock should be the driver of the day for this week. Keep in mind, at the end of our races for the day, our race singular for the day, since this is an endurance event, you'll have another chance to, sorry for the delay, everyone already in the lobby, my bad. Okay, I am getting word from Pokers that we'll have a dual POV stream. I'm getting word that we're gonna be at 11. Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm gonna make his way in. Let me edit the poll. So we will be getting the dual stream set up after the first qualifier, the only qualifier for today. In fact, let me take a quick peek at it while we have a second here. I think we're still waiting. So I'll go ahead and I'll just take a quick look at it. We got the picture-in-picture view is what we're going for. Okay, so yes, we are going to be showing that via a Discord screen share. Got that figured out real quick. No peeking, please. My private Discord conversations. Once again, looking at the overall standings before we hop into our qualifiers. GL to everyone, says Zyno. GL indeed. Looks like our list of 11 racers for today is going to be Kilabaris, Powerade, G-Force, Nick, Laggy Rock, Ertzu, Frostbitten, Sting, Kiki, BGM, and Ama. Go ahead and head over to the in-game view. I don't have sound. Give me just a second. There we go. Okay, should be pretty decent there. Okay, so if this is your first time joining us, we do a 5-minute qualifier to determine the starting order of the contestants. It all comes down to your best lap time. Whoever gets the best lap is going to be starting our race off, and whoever has our worst lap has the distinct misfortune of being at the very back to start off our race. So, I can go ahead and cover some of the things you might expect to see on this track. First of all, we see people taking a route that's a bit different from what I would expect. It does seem maybe going off to the right a little bit gets you some speed. I've always seen people going to the left, so that's definitely interesting to see. I'm not sure if Frostbitten or Famous is. I guess Famous is not going to be here today. And Famous has really been at the helm so far in Season 4 of getting those first places. So we'll see. We might have yet another new first place on our hands. Okay, and I got BGM's skin working. I'm sure he'll be happy to know that. We're not even at the 2-point mark on our race yet. So we still got about 3 minutes and 15 seconds for these drivers to lock in a best lap time. This is a very important part of the track. And when people feel that they don't have their best lap set up, they're going to get as much of that straightaway as they can get. So that's why they're taking that turn like that. But if they do think that they have a best lap time, then what we'll see them doing instead is maybe going for a wall bounce into that downward slope with the ramp. It's a very tricky turn. It should be pretty simple on the Toyota. Depending on the car, it can be quite a challenge, but Alright, sorry about that. We do have 1 minute left, so we'll go ahead and flip through and see some of our best lap times as our racers are wrapping up their opportunities at getting a new one. 42.317, 42.170 for G, and not too great of times for Kiki or BGM. 42.82282 for Keela, and it's again a lot of variance in best lap times. Even Sting with the 42.5 something. Laggy Rock's in the 43s. 42.462 for Ama. And it does look like this is going to be the last lap for a number of people. Laggy Rock will have a chance to begin a new lap. Ama might. He is going to have time to do so. And that's going to be it. Nick is going to be finishing up his lap. .317 for him, still pretty decent. 42.7 for Kiki. Kiki not managing to get much of a best lap. Power8 finishing out here. We'll see how he goes. Goes for that wall bounce. 42.88. It did help him a little bit, but not by a whole lot. Ama is finishing up his last lap, and this will be the end of that. Oh, too tight on the turn. That will be that. Okay, so we are going to have a quick break. Now this break is going to be a little bit different than normal because I'm going to spend it setting up our picture-in-picture properly. So give me just a moment with that. But we will be back in a few minutes. They're going to be calculating the best lap time, etc. Okay, looking pretty good here. If I've got a second, I guess I'll go ahead and change our banners. But I don't know if we really have time for that. So y'all just have to deal with those banners. Actually, let's see what happens. This could go horribly wrong. There we go. It's pretty cool. That'll do. Okay, so we are going to be resuming our action in about 5 minutes. 22:18. I think that's CET. 1918 UTC. In the meantime, I'll show you all the standings again. Oh, I'm back a little bit early because we do have our qualifying times ready. Shout out to Kiki, who does qualifier times, does pretty much all the art that you see on this stream. So a huge shout out to Kiki, aka Prawnfoot. But we'll go ahead and cut this this break a little bit short and show you all those qualifiers. So it was actually Stingox who, before that final lap, was looking like he was going to get about a 42.5, which would have put him right behind Ama, right ahead of Kiki, out in 7th place. But it looks like he found a very close to sub 42 lap, 42.029. 141 milliseconds behind that was G-Force with another blisteringly fast lap. Now, he did have that for a while. Actually, Kilobaris and Nick also had their laps for a while. So nothing too surprising there as far as 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We do see Frost just a couple milliseconds behind Nick, sitting in 5th. Ama, who's usually able to get some best laps, wasn't really able to make that happen today. Might be able to get during the race though, because keep in mind, you get 3 points for best lap, 2 points for second best lap, and 1 point for third best lap. So it is still doable. So, behind Kiki, we had Ertzu, BGM, Powerade, and in last, Laggy Rock, the only above 42 best lap in our race today. And if y'all didn't know, that is a trend with Laggy Rock. Laggy Rock is not one to go for those best lap times. He just goes for pure consistency. And it earned him Driver of the Day last week. We'll see what it can do for him this week. It is 1 minute away from start time. So I think we'll be heading back in. Hopefully, okay, we did get the second spec in. Let's go ahead and give our picture-in-picture another try. Okay, looking pretty good. I am going to crop it just a little bit more. And we're good to go. So it does look like we have just a second. So y'all can go ahead and continue looking at those standings. Sting with over a second better lap time than Laggy Rock. More than 1 second. 1 second and 6 milliseconds. That is really saying something. You smell what the rock is cooking? He's certainly cooking something. We are headed in. Okay, Urban Sprint 1. Starting shortly. All the drivers are going to be getting in a line. Okay. So, Sting being the one who... Oh, wait. I just realized I think we have to do a Discord stream. This is going to be... The picture-in-picture is going to show a delay. We'll get that sorted out. But in the meantime, Stingux, strong lead. Of course, to be expected. He got the best lap. He's starting out in pole position. G. We'll see how he handles this drop-down turn. Oh, a little bit of a push on Sting. It's going to be fine. And I'm curious, does everyone go right? Is right the new pathway? It looks like G took left. Okay, that's going to work, pokers. Good work. In the meantime, now that our picture-in-picture woes are settled, you've got full coverage of G right on Stingox's bumper. Stingox did have that best lap, but G kept it so close, and he is not going to let Stingox get away with anything here. Beautiful wall bounce. Now he did lose a little bit of speed getting overturned. They do go on the left path, colliding with Keela, as can happen with that pathway. It seems Keela emerges our new second in the blink of an eye. Welcome in, Kippy. Not sure what happened with the notifications. First through fifth, straight line, Nick versus G. We'll see how they handle this drop down. Nick on the inside for it, pushing G straight out of the way, wide on that turn, but I guess he's just setting up for that right side turn, so it's no big deal. Here we go. Keeping it moving. It sounded like there were some wrecks in our midst. And that was, I think that was Keela, because, and G too. We've got Ertzu and Kiki moving into the residence of G and Keela here, adding into this fight. G getting turned around once again on the drop down, but he seems to get bailed out. Nick versus Sting. And we'll give our picture-in-picture a go here. Now be patient here. Okay. So, watching from the backside, you get that coverage of the mid to backfield. In the main screen, we've got Sting versus Nick. Sorry for those Ponga scares. We can turn that off for the time being. Okay, Sting. Healthy lead. Keeping it there. Ertzu and G still fighting it out. Ertzu Rex. Okay. Ama and Kiki for third, fourth in the meantime. Wait, now we saw did Kiki wreck right when I say it? Let's see that drop down from Sting and Nick. Okay. I'm sorry, Keela and Ama. And then G and Kiki. Don't know if I misspoke or not. Either way, Ama with the... It wasn't an over-under, it was kind of just an over-over or an under-under. He takes it inside both times. And Keela snatches it right back before I can finish my thought. In the meantime, first and second, Sting and Nick still keeping the heat up. Ama. Oh, Keela. And Ama. Will we see another Keela? It's going to be Ama holding on to that. Is slowing down a bit on the inside. Keela had shaped up for the left side last lap. Now shaping up for the right side this lap, but losing some speed there. Keela losing control. Now it's going to be B and Ertzu. Okay, I'm headed back to the front here. On the main screen, we got Sting and Nick. On the picture-in-picture, Ertzu, B. I think that was Keela ahead of B. Sting, losing a good amount of speed. He still goes for the right side. Doesn't do what Keela opted for, which was to correct and just go on that left side. Sting cutting off Nick, but he can't manage to do it. And Nick does steal first place from Sting. In the meantime, picture-in-picture going crazy. Frost making some moves. And we asked the question, will we see a changing of the guard? I might have asked the question too soon, as Sting takes back first. He's been in first. He took first in White Rose Chapel, last week. A monumental occasion. He's aiming to make it a regular occasion. Meanwhile, Nick trying to disrupt the balance of power. Famous not here. Frost a bit further backfield. This could be a chance for yet another new first place out of a field of very few firsts. Oh, you got Famous in the chat. Keep those crazy eyes off of me. Meantime, Sting and Nick continue to duke it out. Kiki, 30, 40 meters back. And Ama, trying to get too close into the action there. He does fall back one. Now, previous times that we used this picture-in-picture was something that I kind of flipped back and forth for. I only used it sometimes, but I'm feeling like this is a great time to use it here. Gonna keep using it, although I might be eating my words here as that battle for first place evaporates in front of our eyes. Nick on that slippery slope that ends the track. Loses about 20-30 meters from that. Now locked into a battle for second with Kiki, who I was just speaking about, had really fallen out of that fight for first. Meanwhile, picture-in-picture, we've got a battle for fourth between Keela and Ama. This is happening right behind our main picture, Nick and Kiki. In fact, you can probably see them right in front of you, right in front of them in that picture-in-picture. Some more struggling out of Nick, and Kiki dangerously close here. Could go for a pass at any moment. Nick once again on the outside, and there's Kiki taking second. How long will he hold it? He does wide angle for that one, tries to launch through. Nick taking it back at Keela, not too far behind. It's now B and Ama for fifth, sixth. We've got Keela about 20 meters ahead of them. Keela trying to get a piece of this action, this podium action. Nick looking good. B, G, and Ama. 5th, 6th, 7th. And Nick, again, with some tight angling. Might have overshot it there. He's looking fine. The wall bumps coming out. It has been a trouble spot for Nick. He is going to make it work on this lap, though. And actually, we've got Powerade and Ertzu there nearby. Nearby G. Frostbitten coming out of nowhere. Quite a number of races going on. First and second kind of falling off. But where one race ends, another begins. Kiki and Keela, the K's for third, fourth. Ama, B, G, Frost, they're all neck and neck. And they're all taking different routings to start the new lap as well. Keela has been gaining ground on Kiki left and right. He's going to be trying to make a pass here soon. Got different lines around these barrels. In the meantime, Frost and G, all these ducks have been in a row and they've stayed that way for a bit. It has been, it's been looking like the pressure could crack at any moment, but it hasn't. It hasn't yet. I mean, it did there out in the front, but this midfield pack is really keeping everything together here in the picture-in-picture view. G, making me eat my words. He's still keeping it competitive though. A minor wreck, very minor. A quick flip, a quick little barrel roll, and he's on his way. Meanwhile, Keela, Kiki, and Nick, second, third, fourth. That race continues. Sting has broken away somewhat, like we mentioned, but he did so a number of laps ago and hasn't made any substantial work as far as increasing that gap. Okay. Oh, maybe heading back to just the main picture for a moment. Although if we could go back maybe one or two, I don't know. It's kind of good to see. Yeah, this is good. Just keep it like this for the moment, for sure. Air 2 and Power 8 locked in. Power 8 on the inside. Now, keep in mind, this is just for 9th, 10th. But they could feasibly launch all the way to 5th without much work being put in. Power 8's going to start that work. Keela getting close to Kiki. This isn't the first time this has happened. And also, the battle for first seems to be back on. Sting only 10, 15 meters behind Nick. And Nick is really trying to make it happen. Trying to take home a first place for the RVEC. It will definitely be something to add to the resume if he can do it. Kippy asking the hard-hitting questions. Let's see who has that best lap. 42.5, 42.3, 42.4. It is looking like Nick. Oh, actually 42.2. It's Ama who has our best lap. Nick with the second best lap. Oh, Nick is having some mayhem. I'm glad we flipped back right in time. Oh my, not only did he fall out of the fight with Stingox, who's now 50, 60 meters ahead of second place, but also Nick lost 2 more positions in the meantime. Power 8 Artsu continuing to fight it out. Oh, battles going on in both pictures right now. A big drop down turn going to be setting the stage for how the rest of the race goes, or at least that next lap. And it is going to be Nick losing out just a bit there. Can't stay competitive with Keela. G watching as Airtsu and Power 8 fight. Power 8 and Airtsu have been glued together for a whole lot of this race. Meanwhile, Kiki holding on to second. We're on lap 21 of 64. So we are kind of at that no man's land where we're not quite halfway through. But we haven't just started either. Despite that, we're at anything but a lull in the action. Continuing to monitor 2 fights going on simultaneously. And we just saw in the picture-in-picture a wreck. I think that was Airtsu. Too tight on that down drop turn. In the meantime, on the main picture, things continuing to heat up. The battle for second. Nick right back up to Keela after a couple laps of losses. We'll see how this down drop turn goes. Okay. Oh, Nick going for some jousting. In the meantime, Frostbitten has found, I think, a good number of positions. I think he was in like 8th place last time we looked at him. Now he's vying for 5th. Indeed, let's look at that gap for Sting. We're going to be flipping up, and it is 50 meters for Sting. We'll see it this straightaway. We'll get a better view of it. But let's watch these drop-down turns. Keela not going for a wall bang at all. Nick taking it very cautiously. B wrecking, almost catching up Frost. Frost takes a pass. Now he's sitting in 5th. Ama, Airtsu, Power 8. Ama has found 2 positions. Okay. B and Frost. B tries to aim for that inside. And let's see how these others are doing. About the same as normal. We'll stay locked on Frost and B for a bit. Do keep in mind, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, tightly grouped, just not tightly enough. We are going to watch B go for that launch. He goes on the outside, or to the left rather, while Frost goes to the right. And Keela is nearby now. Keela and Nick. Whoa. Okay, we've got Kiki on the picture-in-picture. I actually like this too. I like this too. Both good for me. This way you can see the gap from Sting. Nick and Keela continues on. Frost has wrecked in the drop down. He falls down into 6th. B has passed him back up. We've got Ama angling for some more positions. He might find one. Oh, colliding with G. He does find that pass. And a wreck. Power 8 wrecking. Ama now sitting in 7th. He's found a number of positions in just a few laps. Was really back there for a while. Out in 9th, 10th. Hoping for 6th, 5th at this point. We can see Kiki has closed the gap on Sting ever so slightly. In that picture-in-picture view. And now Ertzu is the one who's on top of Ama here. Positions rapidly changing at this point. Frost, who is right next to, I think, 3rd, 4th, is now sitting in 7th. Just a ridiculous flip-flopping of positions back and forth. Frost with some excellent execution around the barrels. And it's going to catapult him into 6th place. Ertzu going to be getting a second helping there. Frost failing the drop down though, and the situation has reverted itself back to the way it started on the last lap. Frost takes 1. G's nearby. Power 8 near him. The barrels come up once more. We saw Frost with a beautiful line on it. Will he find it again? No. This time it's going to be Ama holding on to both of those positions. Through it all. Down to the drop down. He's going to have some pressure on him. Oh, and this time it's Ama who loses that speed. And it's Frost with the overtake. Sitting in 6th. Moving up is Frost. Moving up is also us. As we now watch B and Keela. And it looks like 1st, 2nd, 3rd is now a large margin away from the rest of the field. So the main action here is this trio of Ertzu, Frost, and Ama. G certainly could get his nose into the mix as well if he nudges his way a little bit closer. Aiming a little bit too closely though. And now it's Power 8's turn to angle for these 3 positions. Ama. Power 8. And that drop down turn has been a nightmare for some of these racers. Others have just used it as an opportunity. They go wide. They get set up for that right turn. But the people who are going for the left, they have not been able to find a ton of consistency. As far as the battle for first, you can see it still in the picture-in-picture. We're watching Kiki 20 meters behind Sting, 30, 40 meters ahead of Nick. In the meantime, Ertzu and Frost dueling it out. Frost gaining the advantage in that situation for sure. We are approaching the halfway point of our race as well, a little note. Ama might be trying to go for a new line here and start angling for the outside. It certainly looked like he took the angle a lot wider than he had in the previous lap. We'll see if he's trying to adjust or not. In the meantime, we see Keela 50 meters behind Nick. A bit on an island. And usually when we say on an island, they've got 100, 200 plus meters between each other. Not the case here. But it is the most island resembling situation of anyone on the track right now. So the race has, I was going to say died down a little bit, but it's really hard to say that. We've got a group of 5 cars all neck and neck with each other. They might not be side to side at all times. Ama and Powerade going for something there. It looked like Powerade going for the overtake, but on the outside, Ama getting dropped back to 10th. We talked about how much work he put in just to reach 6th. Powerade on the inside of the barrel. Now Powerade's trying to find some more positions. Powerade and G have been locked in for a while now. But it was Ertzu, Ama, and Frost. So Ama has been struggling in this group. Frost was ahead of B a number of laps ago. Maybe about 10 laps ago. Maybe about 6 laps ago. But B has managed to do a great job of breaking away so far. Those gaps starting to emerge. We're seeing 40, 50 meter gaps, especially through those front position drivers, pretty much all the way down. So the action really seems to be in this backfield for the time being. G and Power continuing their saga. Powerade with a bit not too commonly seen wreck there. He does have a full recovery, no issues. We can watch the turns here. Okay. All right. Okay. Pretty good, right? Pretty good camera there. Alright, I won't play around with it too much for now, but I'll definitely keep that in mind. We got Ertzu, G, Powerade, Ama. Continues to be our line. Kiki, we still have in the picture-in-picture, and I don't blame you at all. This way we get to see how far away Kiki is from the first place racer, how big that gap is from Sting. We also get to see Nick trying to approach. We also just saw a wreck out of Sting just as I was speaking about it, and Kiki has now got Sting in his view. So, Pokers, I think we swap positions here. You can cover this backfield 7th, 8th, 9th. I'll flip over towards the front for Kiki and Sting. We've now got Sting and Kiki in our main picture here. Lap 36 of 64. Oh, Sting definitely feeling the pressure. Now, when I talked about people who were taking that downward slope turn wide, Sting was one of the people I was talking about. But in that instance, flipping his car very tightly might just be something I'm missing here. We'll see how he handles that next downward dropping turn. At Kiki throwing me off a little bit. He does poke a little bit too close. Gets burnt just a touch. It's just a light burn. Nothing too crazy. We'll see Sting. Okay, so it does seem like it's just a really finicky turn, even if you're trying to set yourself up to go on that outside. Now, I have been full focus on the front two, but we see Frost doing somersaults down that slope, and also I think he caught up one other driver by the end of it. I couldn't quite see who that was. I think that might have been G or Powerade or somebody, but regardless, Frostbitten definitely feeling some pressure here. Can't manage to escape towards the front of the field. I think we've got Keela. Oh, whoa, the pass by Sting in the meantime. Again, that down drop has been such a horrible position for so many of these drivers. They've really been feeling the pressure specifically right there. Kiki seizes the moment. But you know who might else be seizing the moment? Nick. We've had Nick close by. He hasn't dropped. He's been staying in third throughout it all. And now, Kiki and Sting have both been wrecking somewhat. Sting's wrecks definitely more monumental. So this could be Nick's chance to break through. We've got Keela 100 meters back in fourth place. So Nick has nothing to lose here. And in fact, Keela is now locked into a battle with B, who is basically living the life that Frost would hope that he would be. At one point, Frost did have that clean pass on B, and it looked like he was angling for podium position, maybe second or third place. But he's still doing that recomp, in that recomp position. And he's got 24 laps left to work with. Don't get me wrong. But his work is cut out for him. We've got fans of Kiki and fans of Sting. I've seen y'all both in here cheering. So, definitely two of the chat favorites here for the day. Meanwhile, in that picture-in-picture, we've got Powerade and Ama for 7th, 8th. Ama on the inside, nudging Powerade straight out of the way. Ertzu has fallen back in the meantime. Where predictions? Oh, Sting takes it back in first. Okay. And look at that. Look at that. Nick, after so many laps of being 50 meters back behind second, he's now within striking distance, not just of second, but also of first. And I think I'll see the drop down. Oh, Nick trying to cut off Kiki a little bit there. He does just slow down. A good question about who has the best lap. Oh my. No time, no time. And it is Nick swooping into second place. B and Frost fighting it out. Now, I did say B was living the life that Frost wished. And it looks like Frost might be there to take it back a little bit later than expected. But no time like the present. Sting, Nick, and Kiki brawling it out for first still. As far as best laps go, we got a 42.075 for Kiki. That certainly looks like it could be the best lap to me. I'll let them do this U-turn, and then we'll see any others. No. Nobody even close. I think Kiki's got the best lap by like 200 milliseconds. Meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture, we can still see Frost on his conquest. We saw him back there in 8th, 9th a few laps ago. He has managed to, I think it was Ertzu, Ama, Powerade, and G are all the people that he has managed to overtake at this point. And Kiki and Nick on that main picture. Wow, Kiki finds it. And I was wondering if there was going to be a wreck there at that U-turn. Now, neither one of them wrecking, which is good. But a nice pass by Kiki as they head into the barrels. And it is Sting holding on to the first. Ooh, Nick losing a little bit of ground. Oh, losing some more ground. So he goes for an angled jump. Seems to tap with the wall. It's now mostly going to be Kiki versus Sting. 40 meters. Nick has lost a lot of that ground that he managed to gain in the battle between Sting and Kiki. And it is Keela in the meantime. Keep in mind, Keela is in 4th place. If you were wondering, Frost and B continuing to duke it out there for 5th. And it is Keela ahead of them as Frost launches on that rebound off the turn, the U-turn, and steals 5th place from B after a whole lot of laps of meditation over how he's going to do it. He finds the opportunity and he does it. Meantime, Kiki and Sting. Kiki staying so close to Sting. Sting not making any wrecks. But Kiki certainly looking like he might have the edge here or there. Lap 48 of 64. There's still so much time left to go. 34 minutes already has been invested into this race. But we've still got plenty of time left to go, especially for something like a 5-meter gap. And it looks like, in the meantime, Keela might have lost some ground on Frost. No, should be pretty much the same. Nick, I don't know. Nick is 50, 60 meters behind Kiki and Sting, and Keela is about 100 meters behind him. So we might see Frost possibly able to overtake Keela Barris as well. In the meantime, 6th and 7th is now B versus Ama. And I think we've still got Ertzu, G, and Powerade somewhere behind them. And it looked like any of the 5 of them could take 6th place at any moment. There's Ertzu, and G's behind him. And we've got Powerade sitting there in 8th place. So that musical chair type situation has not fully resolved itself, but it's looking much more resolved than it was early on in the race. B has lost 1 position to Frost and looks like he might lose another to Ama here. He's on the inside, but he does lose control, and he even is getting accosted by Powerade at this point. In the meantime, Kiki and Sting on our main screen begin their lap 50. Certainly a time to celebrate. It also means that time is running out on this track. In the meantime, we see B, who has fallen behind Powerade. Ertzu is still nearby, and G has not been able to get his feet up off the ground. G is a threat. He's a force to be reckoned with, but he cannot find his footing here on Urban Sprint 1. It's still possible. We saw Frostbitten make so many passes, but even if G finds, say, 7th place, I know that's not something he's going to be super happy with. Of course, no one in this field is going to really be happy with anything less than at least, 4th, 5th. It's a super competitive lobby. We do see Keela and Frost. Frost taking yet another position. I spoke too soon. And a complete reversal of fortunes between Frost and B. As B has fallen back, Frost has fallen forward. Passing up Keela. And Kiki has just passed Sting. Will he hold on to it though? Sting really pressuring him. It is Kiki holding on to first for the moment. Meanwhile, Nick, 80 meters back. Nick is 120 meters ahead of Frost and Keela, so nothing too serious to worry about there. Third is nothing to scoff at, but he did have those hopes for first. You could definitely see it. Hate to see the wheels falling off, but he might still be able to find positions as tension builds between Kiki and Sting. Sting having a minor wreck at that U-turn once again. They've got about 10, 11 laps left. I told you, keep those crazy eyes away from me, Kranz. Okay. Powerade, B, and Ertzu. That's what we got in the picture-in-picture right now. Ertzu going for the pass. B, B, B. Oh, B. Powerade sitting in 7th. Frost and Keela for 4th, 5th. Keela's taking back 4th. How long will it last? Frost pushing around Keela. Ooh, beautiful over-under there. Definitely giving Keela the runaround. But as they head into the pipes, Keela is not giving up, and he angles on the inside. Right? Yeah, exactly, Kippy. We've got 2 insane battles being shown at one time here. Kiki and Sting, Frost and Keela. Oh, Keela on the, I don't know, I guess it was kind of on the inside. Frost just kind of let him by a little bit. I think he just maybe didn't want to wreck him, maybe spun out a little bit. Either way. Ama uncomfortably close, and Frost too far inside. He doesn't repo. Instead, Ama finds the pass. Kiki holding on to first. Meanwhile, is now Ama sitting in 5th. Ama has done such an incredible job at recovering from an early unfortunate position. We've officially been in this race for 40 minutes straight, so the driver is definitely going to be feeling the effects of fatigue. Powerade B and G for 7th, 8th, 9th. Ertzu in 10th. Sorry about that. We do have Frost leading the helm. I guess technically Ama, but Frost wrecks again. This time B is able to, Powerade is able to pass. B not quite, he's 0 meters behind though. Now he does go on the right side, so this should situate him comfortably ahead of B, and indeed it does. Not too comfortably, just comfortably enough, and G is not out of this yet either. Now Kiki breaking away from Sting, but will he be able to hold on to these U-turns? Sting too far on the inside, losing yet more ground to Kiki. Okay, I think it's after we watch this drop down, I think we should swap places again. Pokers, you can head over to Sting. I'll cover this action further backfield. We'll see if Kiki is able to hold on to first versus Sting during these final laps. In the meantime, whole lot of action. G just barely making his way through that doorway, and it's actually been quite the struggle for these drivers. B a little bit too far. He's gonna have some defensive driving and hold on. G versus B. He does find that angle, but we got the drop down coming in hot. Oh, Frost pushed a bit. G wrecking a bit, and a new configuration emerges once more here on lap 59. Kiki still holding on to first. Frost was 4th. He wrecked right here, Famous. Right there, he got stuck in the doorway. He had to do a full kind of 360 move. Powerade wrecks. Oh my. Oh my, this is certainly the battle for midfield. Frost, he lost that one position to Keela, and then he lost a couple more. Oh, it is absolute havoc here at that drop down turn. And it was Ertzu losing out. Frost. Oh, tricky, tricky. B has to flip. Shout out. Post is playing to cheer on Sting. It is Sting trying to find first. In the meantime, Frost struggling to hang on. Power 8 G Ertzu. 6th, 7th, 8th. Kai Maki. Shout out to you. Cheers. In the meantime, G, Power 8. We've got Ama fighting with Keela for 4th, 5th. Keela has been holding steadfast to that 4th place position for so long. Now, once we get to lap 63, I think we'll flip back and you can cover this and I'll get those front two. But for now, we've got Ama versus Keela through around the barrels. It is Ama with the overtake. See if he's able to hold on to it after the drop down. Nope. Keela takes it right back on the inside. We do have this drop down. Okay. In the meantime, Power, G, Ertzu. Power, wrecking. B in 9th, Frost in 10th, Laggy Rock in 11th. And Sting is gaining on Kiki somewhat. After this drop down, let's switch back. Okay, it is all Sting. I'm switching. I'm going to Kiki, who has wrecked, and Sting finds the pass just like that in front of our very eyes. Sting taking back first in the next to last lap. We thought it might be yet another new victor in the RVEC here, but now it is going to come down to Kiki to find a pass 20 meters in 2 laps. Really just a lap and a half, maybe less than that at this point. In the picture-in-picture, we've got some more battles going down, but suffice it to say that this is our main one here as they begin their final lap. After this drop down, it has not been perfect execution for Sting on the U-turn, and I don't believe it was perfect there either, but they do begin their final lap, taking slightly different lines. The final turns for both of these drivers, it is just going to come down to that drop down turn, the 180 to finish us off. Will it be Sting? Will it be Kiki? Sting trying to find his 2nd win in a row. Kiki trying to find his 1st in the RVEC. He's on the inside. He can't find it against Sting. He was so damn close. Keela holding on to 5th versus Ama. They are all on their final laps here. G, Ertzu, Power 8. Nobody able to find pass. Frostbitten has fallen out of this battle entirely. Keela, Ama, 4th, 5th. G, a very safe turn. Ertzu, Power 8, B, sillying around as he finishes up. And it is Frost and then Laggy Rock. What a finish that was. Shout out to Pokers for some excellent picture-in-picture. I hope y'all enjoyed that. It was Poker's suggestion to do it, and I think it went incredibly well. So GG's all around. Shout out to Pokers. Of course, shout out to Frostbitten for organizing all this. Shout out to Competitive Revolt for bringing you this action. Now, keep in mind, we have a straw poll. Don't leave yet. Who did you think was... Oh, wait. I have to remove the winner, who was Sting. Go ahead and go to that poll. Okay, there we go. So, please vote for who you thought was driver of the day. Anyone but Sting can be voted for. The reason why Sting cannot be voted for is we have a rule where if you won the race, you can't also vote for that person. So that basically concludes our action for today. Here's the standings. Once again, we can check out those RVEC standings. Urban Sprint 1, those are the qualifiers. We got the overall standings here. So Sting is going to be adding 28 points. I didn't quite see who got the best lap, but Sting had or Kiki had a 42.075. And I think that was probably the best lap. So Kiki going to be getting 20 points for second, and probably 3 more, so 23 points for that. Sting, 25. Not sure if he got a best lap. Might be getting 1 or 2 points for that. As far as Frostbitten, 4th place overall headed into this race, but I think he got 10th. So that is... Oh, we can look at the scoreboard as well. Oh, well, you can't see it in game because I'm showing this other screen. But we see Kilabaris in 5th, finding 4th place after a tumultuous race. But of all the people, Kilabaris stuck to his position the most out of anybody. So it was 4th place early on and finished out in 4th place. Ama found 5th. I'll head back to the scoreboard in game. Ama found 5th. After being 9th, 10th early on, we saw Frost move down in the rankings and then up, and it looked like he could even win the race, but he did ultimately fall back down. Nick, same situation, looked like he could win, but ultimately did fall back, finished out in 3rd. Laggy Rock wasn't able to make much happen. We saw B in 4th, 5th for quite a good amount of that race. Air2 and Powerade having glimmers of hope as well. So that was a ridiculous race indeed. Shout out to Pokers and G-Force. So remember, I'm going to have that Driver of the Day poll posted in the RVEC chat as well. And that will conclude our races for today. We've got the RVRL, the Revolt Racing League, Division 3, Wednesday at 18 UTC. Division 2, Friday at 19 UTC. Division 1, Saturday at 19 UTC. And a week from now, same time, same place, Revolt Endurance Championship, week 7. And that track will be... School's out too. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you again soon.